Okay guys, not much in today's TWAB, but we do have a few sandbox changes, so I felt that it was necessary that we go over them, as well as a couple other things involving some exotics and bugs, specifically Antaeus rewards, and we also have Iron Banner returning. So first up, Iron Banner is returning next week, April 23rd. So for those that have not gotten the fusion rifle, Wizen Rebuke, you can still obtain it next week. Of course, you have to complete the Triumph, which requires you to actually go into Iron Banner with the Iron Burden debuff on. Now, Bungie actually states right here that Iron Burden was an experiment for Season 6, but after reviewing community feedback, we are not planning to bring it back in Season 7. They state here that you will have this Iron Banner and one more to earn your Wizen Rebuke, and if you really want to showboat, you can use these next two Iron Banners to get 2,500 burden kills for the Now You're Just Showing Off Triumph. Completing this Triumph will reward the Heavy as Death emblem. And this is the emblem right here. I might actually go for it. I don't know though. Iron Banner by itself is already hell, so we'll see. Now, Lord Saladin will also have the following weapons available for purchase in his inventory. So the rocket launcher and the scout rifle. Now let's move on to the sandbox changes coming to Spectral Blades specifically. The sandbox team actually states right here that as you're all aware, Spectral Blades has been running amok inside of Crucible. Below you'll find a brief on our plans to rein it in a bit. The two main issues are the length of the super, especially combined with Gwiz and Vest, and the survivability of the player while it's active. To address this, we have made the following changes to hit those specific issues. Damage reduction. Out of stealth, damage reduction reduced from 60% to 52%. In stealth, damage reduction reduced from 62% to 54.4%. Now, Bungie states here that previously this super had the highest damage reduction of all the roaming supers, either in stealth or not. This change reduces Spectral Blades to have the lowest damage reduction of all the roaming supers while stealth is not active, and to be in line with the low end while stealth is active. With stealth, vision through walls, and fast shifty movement, this super ability actually has a lot of built-in survivability. This means a lower damage reduction will demand better planning and positioning to survive multiple kills, which lines up well with the fantasy of the path. Now, they actually left us a note here at the bottom. This is also a first step toward trying out a roaming super with lower damage reduction, so let us know what you think. Obviously, this is them testing the waters and possibly reducing the damage reduction of all of our supers to allow us to counter them more effectively inside of Crucible. Now, moving on to the super duration. The super length out of stealth with no attacking has been reduced from 17.5 seconds to now 14.5. And the super length in stealth with no attacking has been reduced from 26.6 to 23.5. The light melee cost has now also been increased by 50%. Now, they did mention Gwiz and Vest here. They stated that we are looking at Gwiz and Vest now and playing with some changes. We also want to see how these initial changes go. If we decide to change Gwizen, you will see it in Season 7. So guys, those are the changes. We'll have to see. Spectral Blades, yes, it's got a lot of things there in terms of its neutral game. That also helps it there when you're in your super. Again, to me, this seems like a Blade Dancer move in terms of how they dealt with Blade Dancer back in Destiny 1. They want you to be more tactical when you're using your super, not just spamming R1, R1, melee like everyone is doing with Spectral Blades and still get a team wipe. So I'm completely down with this. So guys, that's pretty much the TWAB. We do have a few other things. They state here that earlier today, we announced that we are disabling precision kill orb generation in raids, Gambit and Gambit Prime, due to the orbs causing frequent guitar errors, leading to players being removed from those activities. We also disable this functionality in competitive Crucible. Speaking of Revelry, as well as the ability spam that you've been seeing inside of Crucible, Cosmo did comment this morning that they overshot on the ability simulator that you now see inside of Crucible. They said though that they don't have the ability to immediately remove tonics in competitive. Pretty much by the time they could actually get a change in place, the Revelry event will probably already be over. They did state here though that the next time that they make changes that affect the overall sandbox for a limited time, we will ensure a much better experience for the Crucible. I think it's just hit or miss. I mean, yeah, I got a lot of skip grenades that are coming at me. I actually got a video going out tomorrow where we went up into competitive with a pretty cancerous loadout. If you want to avoid the ability spam, I would suggest just avoid Crucible. But there's actually people out there that are really enjoying getting these cheesy kills. Some exotic known issues. First up, Sealed Ahamkara Grasp Hamkar and Nightmare Fuel perk. They state here that we're investigating an issue where this perk doesn't activate when hunters use Knife Trick or Tractor Cannon. Essentially, guys, that is the exotic perk found on those hunter gauntlets that allows you to reload your currently equipped weapon when dealing melee damage. So throwing out a single melee or a knife, specifically Middle Tree Gunslinger, allows you to consistently keep reloading your weapon as the target takes burn damage. Now, I actually haven't used that build in a long time. Again, that was our Way of 1,000 Reloads build that we did like 4 or 5 months ago. So I'm not even sure how it's broken now or how it even ties into Tractor Cannon. Regardless though, it's getting fixed at some point. They also said that Wisdom Rebuke cannot be obtained from collections. But moving on to the big one for me is Antaeus Wards and Misadventures. We're investigating issues where players die due to misadventures when wearing these exotic boots, as well as where projectiles may no longer be deflecting. So I saw True Vanguard, I think 2-3 weeks ago, put out a review on Antaeus Wards, and I noticed his gameplay, he showed many misadventure kills where he was just dying randomly when sliding. I went in and actually checked it out myself, and I noticed the same thing. Something happened since the last time we reviewed Antaeus Wards. It was not getting that level of misadventure. So whether it was a recent sandbox change that occurred that resulted in Antaeus Wards receiving these misadventures, I don't know. I just know that Antaeus Wards, as of now, is bugged out in some way that results in you like killing yourself when sliding into enemy damage, which completely goes against what these exotics are built for. They're meant for deflecting damage and keeping you alive in the process. So whatever the case, these are good things that they're going to be looking at. They did not give a date on when these things are going to be fixed. But if it's like Black Talon as well as Stronghold, I'd say give or take a month. So guys, that is your TWAB for this week. Nothing really exciting. Again, we just came off some major sandbox changes, and I don't really see any big sandbox changes coming until probably Penumbra. Until then, enjoy your ability simulator for the next week and a half. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.